What's up, everybody? I just want to make a quick video about asking for landowner permission. If you listen to a podcast, HP Outdoors, uh, Steve Ranella, any of the big guys, the big thing is you know they're not sitting on thousands of acres, trying to fool everybody that oh, I hunt public. No, they do, or they ask for various landowners for permission for good spots. The first thing you need to do is you need to know what your resources are. Um, that is, you want to go to your city website, county website, look up tax records. I know in my city, you can go to the website and it'll have a map, and it'll let you click it. It'll give you the tax address of the person, tell you the name, and you can send them a letter or try to go knock on the door. For me, I don't have a lot of time with working full time and then being gone so much, so I like to send letters. I include my email and I include my phone number. Kind of give them a breakdown of what I want to do. Kind of leave it open ended, so hopefully they want to reach out back out to me. I don't kind of give. I don't want to. You don't want to give them an ultimatum as if, hey, give me permission or not. I like to try to keep it very open. Also, give information about yourself. Tell them how old you are, what you do, any reason why that in their mind they would go, oh, okay, maybe this person's not a bad guy. So for me, I include work information. I'm working on my degree in my spare time for fisheries and wildlife management, so I like to include that. I'm also on a BHA. I'm on a board for the capital region. So these are things that's going to make someone feel at ease. Also, I like to give them the option of, hey, kind of treat it as a little bit of a co-op. I can come do work for you on the property. I'll notify you of anything that I see wrong on the property. Also, share the harvest. Another thing you can do is, and every state's different, so just don't be whacking deer over there and then handing them bags of meat. I know in Virginia you have to label it, put when you harvested it, things like that. So check your local regs before you do anything, so you don't get yourself in a bind or put the landowner in a predicament that's going to go, I don't want to ever do this again because of this happened. Once you talk to them and you can get into the nitty gritty, then if they reach out to you or want to meet up in person, I've offered to take people to lunch. For me and my schedule of going out to sea and then being back, I don't really have that luxury as much, so I try to give them my work email. So if I am out at sea, they can send me an email and I can, kick it back to them and say, oh, hey, wow, like, thank you very much. I really appreciate, giving me this opportunity, da da da. And it's worked out last year. I actually got a urban archery spot. The lady was nice enough to let me try. She was more excited at the fact that I even asked. I guess they've had a lot of trespass issues there. And after talking with the game wardens, she was right. And they said that I was the first person they had heard of having written permission for that property ever. So it goes a long way of being honest. The other thing I do too is, I put do the homework for them. I go to whatever state you're looking for, and I print out the regulations. Some people are very wary. I know in Virginia and North Carolina that the landowner is not liable for you if they give you access for free. If you're a hunt club, you fall into a different category. You got to have, insurance, things like that. They're not any more responsible for you than if you were trespassing on the property. So as long as they go about their due diligence to remove anything crazy, like a hazard, like say they knew there was a 30-foot hole in the middle of the property and you fall in it, obviously that's not good if they knew about that and then you got hurt. So for me, I'm military, so I have TRICARE Prime, so I could blow my leg off out there and it's not going to bother me none as long as I have access. So and the other thing is I print off the permission form for that state. I'll print off some of the regs and I'll highlight them. You want to keep their focus on the things you want them on. So for me, I highlighted it. save everything to on my computer on a folder. So I have like a rough draft. Each folder is labeled by state, um, and all I do is I go there and change the name, the address of who I'm sending it to. Like, oh hey, blah 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 blah. I would like to get permission to hunt your property near, and then I just change the name of whatever road that their property borders or where it's at. And also in the folder, I save it as their name and then the address. So that way, if I'm out at sea and I get an email and they say, "Oh hey, I'm giving you permission," I'm not like, "Oh man, I totally forgot who this person even is because I've sent so many letters." So you want to keep track of it so you're not kicking them something back to be like, "Hey man, I forgot who this was. What property did I get permission for again?" Not a good look. Um, the other thing I do too is I also let them know like, hey, if you fill this form out and you send it back to me, um, the permission form, like I can have my wife like reimburse you, postage, things like that. You want to help them as much as you can, because they're the one kind of taking the risk and then also doing you a favor. So and then the next thing I want to tell you about for another resource is you want to go is onXmaps. You can pay the full price. I did the first time, and then I realized that a lot of people that I listen to or follow have discount codes. Obviously, for a reason, they're reaching a certain market. They give these guys a code, and then they kick it to you for a discount. I've seen it on Camo Fire before. I think it's the premium, so I get you one state. So if you're just going to stay in your state, you only need the one state. And that was $17.99 the other day. And even read on a post in one of the groups I follow that a guy had issues activating it. He called onXmaps and they grandfathered that price. They said, "Hey, $17.99, we got you. We'll get you through this year." You can set it up for auto renew. Last year I had just the one state package, and then I'm right on the North Carolina Virginia border, so I was like, man, there's some properties on there I'd like to get access to. And it's a lot more rural, and usually farmers and things like that are a little bit nicer than these tracts of land that are surrounded by people because everyone's worried about a liability issue. But so I kicked some letters out to those people today. I got a stack of them here. This is what I'm sending out. I got everything. And hopefully I hear back from some of these people. But if you're tired of fighting everybody on public land, or you want a spot that you can really baby yourself by guaranteed stand placement, or you want to put a food plot in, or you have a set goal and you don't want anyone else to ruin that for you, this is the way to go. So you can't be complaining. Like, don't get me wrong, I hunt plenty of public land. The WMAs, this year I'll be doing a lot of waterfowl hunting, but I did ask for some property that did have some ponds and stuff on it because I've never been waterfowl hunting. I took my buddy turkey hunting this year. He's taking me waterfowl hunting. So I've been practicing calling, and I like to do it and have a really good experience with it just to start and not be, fighting everybody at the boat ramp and doing everything else. The other thing too is there is a couple other map companies out there like Huntera. That will give you an overlay. So another thing you do is when you get the property is they can print you out a big version of the property that you're interested in. That way, and I'm pretty sure you can write on it without messing it up, so you can wipe it back off. So that way you can keep something in your house, like, oh hey man, I saw some scrapes here, things like that, or this is where my stand's at. So if you shared the property with other people, or you could give that to the landowner and say, hey, this is everything that I've done, this is everything I've set up in place. That's what you want to do to give them all the information. Make sure they have they know what vehicle you drive, what license plate you got. I've heard instances of people that drive a different vehicle and the landowner comes out and is losing his mind because he thinks you're someone trespassing, and then he's mad that you told him you drove a white truck and then you came in your wife's red SUV, and he's could be something that small that tells him, nope, we're done here, I can't trust you. I've heard of other instances of people ruining it for themselves by they miss a deer, they don't look for the arrow. A lot of these guys are farmers, and then the farmer goes out the next week, plows, runs over that arrow, pulls out a tire, and he knows you're the only leasee there, he's gonna be like, "Is this your arrow?" Yep. Well, you just lost the property because you just cost the guy like a $600-700 tractor tire. The other thing you can do too is people don't want to follow the rules or be good stewards of the land. So leaving trash, cutting across fields, not staying to the roads or messing up the crop, leaving gates open, maybe not reporting something that the farmer thinks that, hey, well, you saw that, why didn't you tell me? Um, you know, it's their livelihood, and they're obviously taking the risk of putting you on their property, so you want to help them out as much as you can. That goes along with hey, can you come over this Saturday and help me move something or help me build something? Like, you gotta be upfront with them, let them know, like, hey, like, I don't have any availability, or I do, please just give me a little bit of a heads up. Try to help them out as much as you can. um, that's going to go a long way with them. The other thing too is you can drive around. People have had luck driving around, see somebody dragging their trash can up or knocking on doors. For me, a lot of people around here, the properties that I want to hunt, they got really long driveways. You're kind of out in the sticks, and I don't personally like people soliciting to my door. So the last thing that they're gonna want is they're gonna go is, who is this person driving up my driveway, and B, what do they want? So um, I've had people tell me, well, go in your uniform, then it looks better. It's like, yeah, that's a little bit probably true, where they're gonna be like, oh, okay, not a bad guy, but at the same time, I don't like to use that as an excuse or an advantage to be like, oh, hey, look at me, like, look what I do, and then please reward me. Like, I don't operate like that. I try not to wear work shirts when I'm off duty, things like that. I'm just it's a job, and that's it. I don't expect anybody to bend over backwards for me, but I appreciate the things that people do provide, discounts, things like that, but you're never going to hear me complain or say, oh, wow, I should get something because of this. So no. But it's worth a shot. You can try that. Ask your friends. Also, you get in some of these groups, and a lot of people like to share information, or people in those groups have their own property, and it may not just be private to you, but if it's only that guy, and he says, hey man, like, you never been turkey hunting before, I'll take you turkey hunting on my property. Become friends with those people, man. They might invite you back, or you can ask. It's worth a shot. Or maybe that guy only turkey hunts his property, and he's got a pond. You want a duck hunt, go for it. Or he doesn't deer hunt, he'll let you come deer hunt. The guy I work with, my buddy Brennan, he was selling some stuff to a guy, and his family owned a farm, and then the guy said he had a property on the river, and he said, hey, you guys duck hunt out there? He said, no, we only deer hunt. So that guy said, he would let us come out there and duck hunt. So he's going to try to hit him up and see if we can do that. The other thing you do is go on, find your WMAs, things like that, and try to find properties that border those game lands. I know for me this year, we ran into issues where we got back late in the turkey season, and we were trying to get on some birds, and they're not dumb. They're pressured. They know what they're doing, and the turkeys were smart. They would roost on the public, literally fly right down from the roost into private. And we could not get access to the private. It's not worth the risk of shooting the bird 10 feet over the property line, and you don't know who's out there watching you, or the game warden could be hiding in the bushes. You got to have integrity, and make sure that you can keep this land open for everybody else. Because I did reach out to an adjoining property, and they told me, they were very nice. She called me back. She said, hey, we do lease it out, but I don't think the guy that we lease it to would appreciate us also giving you access to the property that he leases. I said, okay, would it be okay for me to call you back next year? And she said, yeah, that'd be fine. So you can do that too. So but if you get one of those adjoining properties, that's also may give you another way in to the property. I know for us, access is limited, where it's got these roads, fire roads that cut in, and then you have to park at a gate and then walk. So most of the action you see is a ton of people parked at the gate, and guys want to walk 100, 200 yards and sit down. for me, if I see a bunch of cars there, I go to the next one, or I just go somewhere else, because I don't like when people walk up on me, and I don't want to be that guy, and I don't know where they're at. If I was at the gate at the same time and said, "Hey, where are you going?" I mean, okay, I'm gonna go the other way over here. Then that's a little bit different. But public land, it can get pretty crazy where guys are getting there at 3 o'clock in the morning, sleeping, waiting, because they don't want to have that same issue. So that property that I was trying to get for the turkeys would have gave me access. I could have drove to the other side, hunted the birds from this field, or I could have walked all the way in and then pursued the bird into the field, and not have to worry about everybody else doing the same thing, because it opened up a couple hundred more acres for me, and a couple different angles were on this other side of the woods. So these are things to look at, things to think about. If you get any questions, leave a comment. Make sure you guys subscribe. Let me know what other videos you want to see. I'm just doing a little bit of vlogging. I'll be gone. I leave this weekend, meet up with my boat, and we're gonna try to do some filming, maybe some fishing while I'm at some port calls. But yeah, subscribe, hit that like button, and come fall, we'll be putting out way more content. So everybody take care.